Hello everybody, welcome to our third video in this series. This is our assembly. It took a while, which is why we haven't posted this sooner, but electrical is going much faster, so everything is going well. Thank you and enjoy.
So we've gathered supplies. We have our slides in beautiful green with slide caps. We have one of our unblocked box slides. We found these, which are peanut bars, which are exactly the length we need. Up here, this is where we're working currently. This is our first prototype one. We're currently attaching
The corner legs.
the corners out of Super PLA Plus from Overture, which are
Super strong.
very, very clean, super strong. We've already tapped and tested. There's some holes on this side for the slides to go in.
Yeah.
So everything is working, and we're currently just making sure this goes in.
In addition to all the parts we ordered online, we also had a mini print farm going on with 3 of our printers printing all of our parts over the course of a few days, which was pretty impressive, honestly.
So in this photo, we are drilling and tapping for all of the Y slides, I believe, in this photo. It was kind of a challenge aligning the rails perfectly in the center of the bars we bought. So we 3D printed some aligners, which you'll probably see here.
Yeah, so the issue is our rails were 600 millimeters and the bars are about 609 millimeters or 2 feet. And we scalped them off some previous robotics supplies. So we didn't really want to cut them down, but then we also wanted the spacing right. We wanted them to be in the center. And yeah, so we made a few little jigs that we printed up pretty quickly on a printer, and that aligned both our holes in the center of our bar mounting holes and the bars in the center of the or the rails in the center of the bar. So yeah.
In this photo, it is us drilling and tapping also for the couplers, the green parts you see. Those are the joints between all of the not extrusion, peanut bar, excuse me.
Yeah, so my printers, while reliable, some of the prints were better quality than others, and we had quite the time removing supports from stuff with these couplers, and then the legs that you'll see later. Those took a while, but once they were apart, they were pretty straightforward to get going. We just kind of drilled the holes, tapped them as we did with all the other parts. We needed to make sure on every single bar that it was aligned correctly. With the there's a certain side that worked.
Yeah, and we were very conscious about making sure everything was square as we were working, as you'll probably see.
Yeah, those are
and
priority.
We knew that every single small part that was slightly misaligned, it all kind of adds up towards the end. Yeah. So we wanted to really minimize that at the beginning, and throughout the entire build. So for the base, we utilized long clamps a lot because we were able to compress everything uniformly when we were putting the couplers on and making sure that we were able to get full compression on everything specifically evenly, so then we don't have any of our parts going astray or
slightly angled the wrong way.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, so we took the bars with the rails on, we took some of our other bars, and we took the couplers and kind of smashed them together.
Clamped them gently. So when we were putting it together, we had the rails attached to them already, the Y rails specifically. And we, in order not to damage the rails, we use little leather pads in between the rails and the clamp sides, so we don't dent them or just kind of scratch or, yeah.
Yeah, and so we realized in the assembly that while it was pretty solid, we did want kind of a third crossbar going across everything to connect it all in the middle, which you'll see either here or later in the video. But so we added that later after realizing that.
Yeah. And towards the end, we made sure it was square by measuring the corner, and making sure that also lines up with the other corner to corner because that's how you make sure things are square. The legs that we had were all pretty good. It was kind of hard.
Cork on the bottom of those to make sure that
we
it
corked all the
was
bottoms.
pretty solid.
The traction we got from that was really good. I thought that was a good idea.
So we have just finished the base of our CNC machine. It's themed beautifully in green and black. We put the legs on. Pretty solid. What would you say?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Got back from the East Coast.
Got the carriages on.
Slideys.
Very slidey.
We just need to put the top screws in.
Yeah, we're waiting to get the motor mounts and stuff printed, so we can put the top screws in, and we also are still kind of unsure on how we're mounting a build plate on. That's been the response. But yeah. So for the X gantry, this one was by far our longest print time. We had all of the printers available to us, printing parts of it at once, because we had to break it into 2 halves with a nice little dovetail that we added, which worked pretty well. But it still took like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah,
with
there's
3 printers working on it, because it's just solid.
It's not solid. It's
like 25% infill, but that's still a lot of filament. And then we printed it. It was a fairly similar process to the
that's what I was gonna say.
Base in terms of assembly.
We tried to still utilize the clamps a lot, making sure everything was uniform. And some of the harder parts, I think, of assembling it is aligning everything.
The biggest problem we ran into was, turns out in our original sketch for this entire thing, I think one of the first sketches we made, one of the angles was not, in fact, 90 degrees.
It was like 91.
It was like 91 or 89 or something like that, and we didn't catch that. It's since been fixed, but we didn't catch that until we put it together and everything was printed.
Yeah, you'll see me miserably sanding right here.
Yeah, that was not fun to deal with.
Yeah, that was a blunder.
But that went pretty smoothly. We just we clamped it all together, got it pretty uniform. And we used
some really long 1/4-inch screws.
There's a lot of material to get through on that.
5-inch screws. So it was pretty heavy duty, especially going into the peanut bar, because we knew that part had to be super structurally sound.
And because we used the dovetails to be able to print them, we added in a few holes for kind of bracing that we were going to make out of aluminum bars that we bought, and we were just going to self-drill holes. And we tried to make those heat set insert holes, except we haven't used heat set inserts before, so it didn't end up...
Yeah, I kind of obliterated all of the side panels.
It wasn't so much heat set inserts as it was press fit inserts.
Yes.
But they kind of worked. Most of them fulfilled their purpose.
Yeah, and it's... Yeah,
went pretty smoothly. So for the final bit of our main assembly, it's the Z gantry, debatably one of the most important. Annoying thing is the slides that we bought, the 250mm MG9 slides. The specifications sheet was impossible to decipher, in my opinion, and my spacing was off. So we printed the plates that everything fit on.
Well, so
the slides didn't.
The plates that we had for the front and back didn't quite fit in one print on our printers, so we had to split that into 2 segments, which greatly reduced our rigidity in there. So that's a problem.
That was the problem we
encountered.
And then so we had a few test prints where it was just figuring out what the spacing on those slides were.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of our... And then the spacing on some of the other holes was off just because the Z had the most components on it, so there was the most chance for everything to be slightly off. So we had a lot of screws that were just slightly wrong. So that required...
Oh, well, another thing that we kind of had a little bit of trouble on was the bearing. I don't know. I believe it's called a bearing that goes on the lead screw.
Yeah.
The part that slides up and down. Because we couldn't find any documentation for that either.
Little documentation.
So a lot of trial and error,
so there was a lot
of micro printing, just
a circle.
Yeah, just trying to really compartmentalize.
Yeah, and we're lucky to have a laser cutter at our school, so we use that quite a bit to prototype various different circles. Just quickly cut this, okay, does this fit? No. Okay, cut slightly different.
Yeah.
So we got that down pretty quickly. And then, that was the assembly. So you should see up on screen now a fully assembled CNC machine, which we were pretty proud of.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really happy of how it turned out. Testing, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, still have to do electrical, but we'll see.
Yeah, I could only imagine.
All right.